Hello, and welcome back to High Vibe Table Talks. I am your host, Rashawn Hargrave, and I am so excited to have you here today. I'm excited about today's content. It is a piggyback off of last week's episode because I was thinking about showing up and starting to show up. And this is content, again, that I have covered in different podcast episodes, but I was listening to Jenna Kutcher's podcast, and I think she's at I don't know, like 900 episodes or something. And I'm like, damn, 900 episodes worth of content. That's incredible. And the second thing I thought is, of course, she's talked about this stuff before. Of course, she's repeated stuff. Like, people who are listening to episode 2 may not be listening anymore. People that are listening now may not have listened to episode 57. I over the summer took a big break from listening to podcasts. And so just like with any other content, like there's two parts to it. Is that people don't always need education. Sometimes they need a reminder. And people are paying a lot less attention than you are. And so if it feels like it's repetitive for you, it probably is not for your audience. And also, even if it is repetitive, maybe it's the exact reminder that they needed. And so in last week's episode, we talked about bowing your head and moving your feet. And so as you are moving your feet, as you're starting to take action, what is going to show up? And that's fear. And so what I wanted to do today is I wanted you to picture a closet. Picture this like fabulous designer wardrobe. And that is fear's wardrobe. And so as you're going through and you're looking at all these different outfits, fear, and maybe it is Glenn Close in, is that? And so you are looking at Glenn Close's wardrobe in The Devil Wears Prada. And Glenn Close is fear. And that is how she is showing up. And so we're going to talk a little bit about today what fabulous outfits fear has and how they show up. And then the second part is going to be, what do you do then? What do you do once you start to recognize these things are showing up? And so the first way that fear is showing up is in a form of shame. And so you're picturing this heavy black, maybe it's a fur piece that you can kind of like hide in. And so fear puts on shame of like, who am I? Maybe that's what you're telling yourself. Everyone's going to laugh at me. Having all these eyes on me, that's so embarrassing. Who do you think you are? And so it's just all of these like shame, shame, shame. And so you just get to hide in your big, comfy fur coat that just feels so cozy. And that's how fear is showing up today. And so we are just going to take that off and put it right back in the closet. And so then fear says, okay, well, what about this? And it is showing up as procrastination. And so it is this coat, this trench coat that has all these different pockets because there are so many things that you could be doing instead of taking action. Like, look at this fun little pocket that has a little doodad in it. And why don't you take time thinking about that? And oh, look at this note that I found for my 10-year-old that she wrote me. And let me just think about how wonderful that is and maybe scroll through some pictures. And all of these things that I'm going to do instead of taking the dang action. And fear loves to put on that trench coat. and think about all the other things. As I talked about before, like part of why I started my accountability group is because instead of cold calling, I was doing a lot of dishes. I hate doing housework, but dishes seemed real fun compared to something that is as scary as cold calling. So what are we going to do now? We're going to take off that trench coat, put it right back, and we are going to pull off this fabulously tailored to perfection suit. It is a power suit. You feel wonderful. Everything is absolutely perfect on it. And now you can start to take action because it's perfect. But you did maybe that like color theory where it's like, oh, what color's good for my skin tone? And it's just a hue off. Maybe it's cool and you need to be warm. Maybe it's a jewel tone and you need it to be paler. I haven't done that, but and so it's not quite right. And so maybe you'll keep looking, or you'll fix this or change that or hem it just a little bit differently. And instead of taking action, you're trying to make this suit that is already wonderful and exactly what you need to do the thing. It's just not quite perfect yet. And so that is fear showing up as perfectionism. When I have the perfect suit, then I'll take action. When I have the perfect caption, then I will take action. And we just need to show up imperfectly. Like, I would rather see someone showing up imperfectly than like I would rather see someone in the messy middle than see that perfect image at the end. And so just go take the action. So we're going to take off the perfectionism suit and we are going to put that back. And the next thing we're going to take off of the shelf is this blingy, like full out, blinged out, vibrant dress that has gold lace in it and all these details. And it's just so. Am I bleeding now? Every side of it catches a different glimmer of light and brings you to think about, oh, look at this. Oh, look at that. And that is fear showing up with shiny object syndrome. Because it can be really exciting to get a new idea and you start to do the thing and you're like, oh, this is so fun, and you're ideating and it's really cool, and like, what about this and what about that? And then you have to go and you have to do the work. Then you have to go and you have to make the business plan, or you have to cold call, or you have to ask someone for money, or you have to go to a market, or you have to put yourself out there. And then this other cool idea, oh my God, wouldn't it be so awesome if I did this? Wouldn't it be so great? The world needs this new thing. And let me put down the thing that I've put a ton of time and effort into to start this new thing and ideate on this new thing, because that's the fun part of the process. That's not the messy middle. That is the fun, exciting, dopamine creating part of the process. So that is fear showing up as shiny object syndrome. And so you may be thinking like, oh my gosh, yes, my fear shows up as X. And maybe it is procrastination, maybe it is shame, maybe it's perfectionism, maybe it is shiny object syndrome. Maybe it's something else that it shows up for you as. And so the first part of the process is awareness. And it's catching your brain doing those things and saying, I see what you're doing here. You're out of your comfort zone. And so it is fear putting on her power suit. It is fear putting on her beautiful, blingy dress. But we're going to put it back. So the first part of the process that you need to do is be aware. And so that's where like meditating and being quiet and sitting with yourself is really important, because it starts to bring awareness to all of those conversations that are going on in your head. Now, part 2 is action. Now, what do you do about it? Like, how do you combat those? And I like to think about the movie Inside Out. I love those movies so much. But I just see fear being like one of those characters. And it's in our brain for a very important reason. Like it keeps us in our comfort zone for very important reasons. And so I like to say thank you for bringing that to my attention. You will not be driving. You will not be controlling the GPS. You will not be controlling the radio. I appreciate that you are here for the ride, and we're going to continue because I feel so deeply about this. And so it's accepting those. It's not shaming ourselves. It's not feeling like I'm not meant for this because this is where my brain goes. It's saying thank you. And here's this really nice, comfortable couch for you to lay on and deal with your fear. But we're going to keep going on this journey because I don't want to look back 5 years from now and be like, why didn't I start then? And why did I let fear control my path so much? And the next part is finding a mantra that gets you back in the zone. You know, when I'm cold calling, I love the mantra, sales is a commitment to my calling. Like I feel so called to be on this journey and on this path. And sales is me committing to that, me committing to saying, I'm going to show up because there are people out there that need what I offer. And I'm going to show up before all of the recognition comes because that's what has to come first. And I'm committing to it. And so finding a mantra that gets you in the right headspace, that connects you to your why, that feels really grounded, and lets that fear take a seat. Hey, lets that fear take a back seat and say, you get comfy back there while we're on this ride. Again, you're not touching the GPS. You're not touching the radio because I'm not trying to listen to for a while I was listening to those like murder mystery podcasts. And let me tell you, my anxiety could not. I walked in one time and my husband was like waiting for a ride and he was in our kitchen and had the lights off for some reason. Why you'd sit in the kitchen with the lights off, I don't know, but he was doing it. And so I walked in the kitchen and just saw like his shadow and like screamed a scream. I screamed real loud. And I realized that those podcasts were like affecting my anxiety level and like my baseline was just like too heightened because of what I was listening to. So again, Fear's not putting on My Favorite Murder podcast. She is putting on Jen Sincero. She's putting on Taylor Swift. She's putting on all the exciting and poppy and lift you up and get you in the mood type of songs and put in the GPS where we want to go. So I hope you enjoyed taking a stroll through Fear's closet. Glenn Close, thank you so much. But we won't be putting any of those outfits on. We are going to put on our messy middle, our doing the damn thing outfits. I haven't worn it in a while, but when I would do manifesting calls, I used to do Millionaire Morning Mindset calls with my groups, and I would wear my rich bitch kimono. And it just was this sweater that just made me feel like it was so luxurious and like I was going out and I was going to rule the world because that's what I decided I wanted to do. So I want you to take off all of Fear's outfits and put on your rich bitch kimono today. So thank you for listening. I hope this was helpful. And until next time, remember that big dreams and small steps will transform your life.